Hello everyone, welcome to the 6th edition of 3 Easy Extreme Demons. This is the series where I go through 3 low-end extreme demons and give you guys some tips and tricks on how to beat them. Last episode we covered Red World, Roby, and Terrorcore, and in this video I have 3 more extreme demons to share with you guys. Really quickly before I start, I actually uploaded a community tab announcement that I'll be posting in the description. In that community tab announcement, you can actually comment some suggestions for extreme demons for me to beat for one of my next 3 Easy Extremes videos. If your level wins, you might actually receive a shout out during or before the completion. So yeah, make sure to comment there. Make sure you're only commenting one extreme demon because I'm gonna put them all onto a wheel. But yeah, without further ado, the first extreme demon on our list is... Alright, the Flawless by Finn and More. This is a really old level, like incredibly old. This level's so old that I only have memories of it being like super unpopular for some reason, even though it's clearly not. I'm not gonna waste your time though, I'm gonna go through the level and give you guys some tips and tricks. Alright, so the beginning of the Flawless is a wave section that is actually pretty difficult if you're not good at wave. If you at least have some skill in wave, you should be able to get this part down at least like moderately quickly. But if you're not good at wave, this part will definitely be really hard for you to pull off. You have this really long idle section, which you don't have to do anything, which I don't like in levels, but this level's really old, so I'll give it a pass for that. Alright, so the first tip I have is right here at the ship section. As you can see, that structure moves up very awkwardly. If you just do this type of movement, you should always pass it. Don't worry about straight flying through this part that much because you have a lot of open space to work with. But just make sure you're controlling your clicks a lot. Right here, what I do at this part is I hold into the cube portal, buffer the green orb, and then hit the blue orb onto this structure as early as possible, and then hit this yellow orb. All right, right here, we're already at the drop. The drop isn't that hard. It just really depends on if you can control all of your game modes. If you're not good at learning a click pattern, then this level isn't for you, because click pattern is basically all this level is. If you don't have a good click pattern for this level, then you're done. For this UFO part, the click pattern I recommend is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hit the green orb late, and then do 2 more clicks until the pink orb. This ball part is very weird. I didn't like it that much because it's too spammy. At this ship part, just make sure you're looking ahead. Something you'll get used to when you're getting into higher levels of playing Geometry Dash is not looking at your icon that much. You actually have to focus on the entire right side of your screen. The left side of your screen doesn't matter unless you're going through mirror portals, etc. But if you're just making sure you're looking ahead and you can control your cube very well, you don't really ever have to worry about looking at your icon. For example, at the ship part, you don't have to look at your ship because it may screw with your alignment. This part isn't that bad, it's just a bunch of memory. There are pink orbs inside of blocks for some reason, which I don't understand. But make sure you're clicking the pink orb right there so that you can actually get this timing down because that's a pink orb you actually have to hit. Same with all these ones right here. So right here, there is a very awkward transition into a ship part. What I did was only clicked once. If you feel like clicking twice, you can, but make sure you're not like straight flying like that. That's gonna be really inconsistent. And right here at this teleport portal, make sure you're hitting the blue orb before everything. For this pink orb section, just click twice. Do not click any more times. And then right here to transition into this, you just hold after that, and then you become the ball. These 2 ball clicks right here are really hard, at least for me. Right here, there's a really fast, tight straight fly. You can get away with doing it in 2 clicks, which is what I did, or you can straight fly through it. It really doesn't matter what you do there, but if you find it more consistent, just click twice there, then just click twice there. Right here, the level becomes really, really easy, and as such, the difficulty falls off a lot. Right here, what I did at this UFO was I would click as soon as I enter the portal and then just do that. I would avoid all the orbs in that part. This duel is pretty weird, but it's not that hard to learn. You just have to make sure you're clicking right, which is obvious, but it's still not that hard. Honestly, I don't have a good tip for this upcoming ship and wave duel, but one thing I would recommend is just focusing on your wave. Alright, if you're gonna die anywhere at the end, this last wave part should be the part you die at. This last wave part is pretty awkward, and right here, for these spikes right here, it looks like you could spam through them, which you can if you want. But the most consistent thing you can do is to do a motion like that. But then yeah, you have one last triple and then you beat the level. Alright, so that was the Flawless. In terms of enjoyment, I gave the Flawless a 5.5 out of 10. The gameplay isn't really that fun just because it's much older, and even back in the day, I don't think this gameplay would have been that good. And in terms of decoration, I gave the level a 2. There was not much going for the decoration. Most of it looked pretty ugly up until the halfway point. The halfway point of the level actually looked pretty good for the time, but honestly, the first 30% and the last 30% looks ugly. But I don't have much else to say about the Flawless.
We should idolize Fed addicts. What?
Sorry, I'm looking at Twitter.
We play. Me and Max plays on this on Zero.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's wrong?
Aero?
Damn.
Aero? What do you mean? 97? Really?
Yeah.
Bro. Come on, put something. Put something from at least 90. Like, we're not asking for much.
Dude, I love Punk Dynosaur.
Let's go! Quest complete! 2 quests complete!
GG Aero.
3 quests complete!
I haven't been watching the video. Can you tell your mom to kill you?
Alright, next up is Penombre by ZephiroX. This is a older level, I would say. Yeah, it's pretty old, but it is still a level that came out in 2.1. This level is pretty learny, but once you learn it, you should be really consistent with it, and it becomes not that much of a challenge once you learn everything. Alright, so the beginning of Penombre is pretty learny. It's not learny in the sense that it's like a memory part, it's just learny in the sense that the click pattern and timings are kind of strange, and this ship part is awkward. A lot of the ship parts in this beginning are awkward, but once you learn them, you get past this every attempt. My first tip though is right here. For alignment's sake, buffer both of these blue orbs, hit the pink orb late, and then hit the green orb. But yeah, this beginning is just a timing test. It's just basically a skill test. If you can pass the beginning, you can beat the level, honestly, because the drop isn't that hard. But yeah, this beginning ends with this ship section right here, which make sure you're controlling your clicks like I always say, because you don't really want to just straight fly through it. That'll be really inconsistent. Now we're at the drop. The drop, I can't really give any tips for it because it's a memory part, but just make sure you're doing that, whatever I just did right there. Once you're in the middle of these 2 flat spikes, you want to do a micro click upwards just to make sure you actually enter the yellow portal correctly, because if you don't, you'll die to that spike like I am right there. So just make sure you're doing that because there's a hidden path right there that you need to go through. This UFO's click pattern is pretty easy to learn, so I won't say much about it. This cube part right here is very awkward, but once you learn it, like I said, you'll get used to it. One thing I will recommend though is you don't really have to press anything. You can just do that. This wave part is the hardest part of the level, at least in my opinion. It's just really awkward for a wave section. Even though it looks very linear because you're watching it in slow mode, it's very awkward, specifically this part right here. I really hate these clicks. For this swing copter right here, the click pattern I'd recommend is what I'm doing right here. That's what I would recommend for that click pattern. This ending part, just like the beginning, is a timing test, except the timings are much easier. Something I will say, make sure you buffer these 2 orbs right here, because I died because I hit this too late, and that was my furthest death, so make sure you're not doing all that. And then the last click is the hardest click in the world, make sure you don't die there. But yeah, that was Penombre. So in terms of enjoyment, I gave Penombre a 5 out of 10. I didn't really enjoy the level that much, despite it being pretty fun to learn. The experience from Zero is pretty rough, since you get far every attempt just to die to some random bullshit. Nonetheless, it was still a playable experience, which is why I gave it a 5 out of 10. In terms of decoration, I gave Penombre a 6 out of 10. The decoration style is actually pretty cool. I just am not the personal biggest fan of dark, decoration styles like this. I like my levels brighter, so that's the reason I didn't enjoy the deco as much as I should have, but it was still pretty good nonetheless. I don't have much else to say about Penombre.
Yippee! GG's. Yippee!
Wow, that was so hard.
Now let's just hope it clips. Alright, and the final level for today is Blacklights by whlt and more. This level is very strange. I would say it's choke point carried in my opinion, or at least it's very imbalanced or unbalanced. That's what it seems like to me. But other than that, I don't have much else to say about the level right now. The beginning of Blacklights is a UFO part that, in my opinion, is pretty easy, especially since most of the clicks are indicated for you, either by orbs or portals. It pretty much is the case in this level that most, if not all, of the portals and orbs in the level are click indicators. That being said, there is like no fakes in this level, so it's a very linear level. So if you're into more linear levels, I definitely recommend this one. And then right here, we're immediately at the drop. This ball is very learny, and I don't have much to say about this ball because you pretty much have to learn the timings on yourself, but I don't really like this ball part at all. In my opinion, this ball part is one of the hardest parts in the level. I don't know if it's the hardest part in the level, but it definitely is just one of the more awkward parts. Just like I said earlier with the flawless, just make sure you're controlling your ship clicks here. You can get away with doing a lot of this part in 1 or 2 clicks per gravity size portal, so just make sure you're not over clicking. This wave part is very intimidating, but once you learn it, you don't die here that much. It's still a pretty hard part, don't get me wrong, but you just don't die here as much as you would think you would. I found this UFO transition to be very awkward, but it's still not really that bad. Unlike the first UFO part though, this part doesn't have any click indicators, so you do genuinely just have to learn your own click pattern here. Now this robot part is a very hard part. I don't know if it's the hardest part in my opinion, but it definitely is up there. And it's just because the structures move, I think. It makes the timings really awkward. Make sure you're hitting all these orbs in the middle, by the way, because each of these orbs is a timing. So just make sure you're not clicking too early or too late. You might just want to hit all the orbs in the middle. Right here, these are the last 2 orbs. What I'd recommend is just hitting the first one in the middle, hitting the last one late, and then buffering the last dash orb. But yeah, that was Blacklights. In terms of enjoyment, I gave Blacklights a 6 out of 10. The gameplay was actually pretty fast-paced while also maintaining a really fun and slow click pattern, but at the same time, the level did feel very boring from zero, so I didn't have that much fun playing it from zero. In terms of decoration, I gave Blacklights an 8 out of 10 because it stayed bright while also being really dark, so I really did appreciate that, but it still wasn't, you know, perfect. Anyways, that's all I have to say about Blacklights for now. Nice. I beat it.
You did it?
Yeah.
Is that not a fluke?
No, I died at 95.